Hi everyone, we've just had day 13, which was the men's finals. We're here to recap it all inside the circle.
Welcome to day 13. It's the men's finals day, and we've been joined once again by Alan for the first day, for the first match of the day, should I say. Alan, how'd you get on today?
Not too bad. Taekwondo at the Grand Palais, unbelievable venue, just breathtaking. If anybody has the time, go and find the time lapse where they change it from fencing to the Taekwondo. It's a beautiful building. I think I did mention it before that unfortunately, structurally, it's just an old building. It hasn't been made for the games, but look, it's a good venue. It's just fantastic. It's just another one of those iconic buildings that the Olympics have really tied into.
Absolutely. I think it's looked amazing for both sports, and very lucky you could get to see it in person.
Absolutely. So India, Spain. Oh, geez, this was a good game. It wasn't bad. To start off with, Spain had early pressure. Unfortunately, just didn't come to anything. India got a number of attacks down the left-hand side, hit into the circle, and it was just past the post. Really, they got a sort of against the play a bit. I thought Spain played well at the start. And it's, then India really, after that sort of pass, India really started to get a bit more of a sustained pressure with, unfortunately, some dramatic dives from the players. And because we haven't really seen this in hockey, it is starting to creep in a little bit. And it was a bump. I just thought it was a bit footballer-esque.
It happened a couple of times through the game for both teams. It was both teams. One team was doing more. It was had a couple of times from each team, but the umpires, I must say, were very good in shutting anything down fairly quickly. Even later on in the match, when Spain were maybe getting a wee bit frustrated, they were able to calm everything down quite nicely.
I think the umpires and the FIH have probably seen this and have gone, we need to nail this, otherwise it could spiral out of control for us. And we can't have the horse bolting out of it, and a bit like the football where it's going to be hard to rein back anything like that. I think they've nipped it in the bud very, very well.
Absolutely.
But look, India got another cross, and this Jurat Singh was hit in the head. He was hit on the head square on. It was an unbelievable hit.
Yes,
and he did go down, and it was I thought this is bad. No, it was bad. But he did come back on again, and I just wonder, he got hit just at the side here, which is quite soft. And HIA protocols, I'm sure, were enforced and everything else. But to let a player with that sort of head injury come back pretty quickly into the game, I was quite surprised, even if they held him off to half time. But he was back on again, and look, who knows? I mean, we're looking at it from a distance and looking at it on the TV.
Yes.
Look, Spain, once the match started again, Spain had a great drive down the right-hand side, down the baseline. Sherjes made a great save from Bastara, and the game was starting to pick up a wee bit. As I say, a few more dramatic dives I've written down here. There was another one that really wasn't, it was a nudge.
There was a couple,
But the end of the quarter, there was good defending for both teams, some nice attacking plays. Indian flair was starting to come out. I thought their stick play was just amazing. And in that tight space in the corner of the pitch, I mean, they nearly just took it in there to try and get something.
Yes.
Now, don't get me wrong, Spain had them sussed a bit and did very, very well. But you know what? I thought that quarter was a good quarter. Reasonably evens. Second quarter, they obviously got it because of the heat here is pretty hot again. They got a 4-minute break for the quarter. But 2 minutes into the game, a Spanish attack, and the player was just pushed off the ball, really, and they got a penalty stroke. It was a no-brainer. Nobody referred it. It was a straight stroke. Mark Miller stepped up to take the penalty stroke, his second one of the games, and sort of rifled it into the roof of the corner. of the net, and the goalkeeper really didn't have much of a chance. 1-0 to Spain. Look, if India had scored, it would have been okay, fair enough. I mean, there was no, like, we're only 2.5 minutes into the game, or into the quarter. Spain then contained some real Indian pressure down the right hand side, some great aerials. India were very, very smart on their aerials, and the commentator picked up on it, and I hadn't picked up on it, but the guy had sort of come into the circle, spun about, and the really tight skills that the Indians had was fantastic.
Absolutely.
There was another stick tackle in the corner, and a couple of
it ended up with a penalty corner for Spain. I think in the end there was a couple of bad tackles after Spain had worked up the pitch quite nicely, and then there was just bad tackles and feet all over the place from India, and Spain were able to get a penalty corner.
Unfortunately, it was deflected wide, and all that work and everything else just didn't do it. Look, German Preet had a great cross in from the right hand side, deflected. Goalkeeper saved it. Calzado made a great hand save, and both keepers had something to do, but not a lot. And look, we talked about it yesterday. They were playing between the dotted D's, and all of that there. Spain right up the far end after that shot, and another miss. We're talking 30 seconds, and they were back up the other end. But and then the skill levels in the middle of the pitch were fantastic. Some great aerials, as I said, from India. And as I said, what I was saying was the commentator had mentioned about they were putting the aerial just outside the circle, not into the circle. And that allowed them to get that 5 yards because Spain just held off on it. With about 2.5 minutes left, a ball hit the Indian post, came back off again into Suresh, and got stuck under his pads. Now he did the right thing by sort of moving about. An Indian guy came in and immediately penalty corner. The penalty corner was cleared, and immediately India had a breakaway right down the far end, and they referred for a penalty corner. And Harman Preet just stepped up, put it in bottom left, and the corner ended. An absolute rocket, but like 1-1 at the end of the game. Those are the moves that absolutely kill you, because Spain thought they were okay to the end of the half.
Yes,
and I thought they were. I am probably the coach thought they were all right, but that was just a killer blow for 1-1. It was,
and especially it was really interesting that India got back straight after the attempt from Spain. I thought it was in. That span up when I hit off the. I thought it was in. I went, oh, here, Spain going in 2-0 up at half time. This could be brilliant for them, and that just complete 180 flip that India got the goal off the penalty corner. I think there was 21 seconds left, so they got the goal, restarted, and then faffed about in the corner. So it was wholly demoralising for Spain to just go, we were so close.
Look, halftime stats, it basically 50-50. India had 15 penetrations into the circle to Spain's 7. Now, that surprised me, but I thought it would have been a bit more 10-10 or 8-8. I mean, I really did think it was quite even. Look, the second half started with India attacking, and straight away asked for a backstick referral in the circle. And it was a real bobbler one. It just was the guy was sweeping the ball away for clearance, and it's just hit the back. And the Indians spotted it, and it was a really good call. Harman Preet then back again, and he put it on the right hand corner this time, and straight low in, and we're 2-1 with minutes into the second half. And again, that to me was demoralising for Spain, and I do think they suffered for that.
I think for the rest of that quarter, they struggled.
Yeah. Really struggled. India had the pressure, and as you say, India got a couple of more penalty corners. Spain referred it and won the referral for a high hit on the runner. And but it was the second runner, and you could see he didn't see the ball. He just clobbered because the first guy was running right down the line and he got hit, and it was a referral for a high hit. Spain got a penalty corner. The goalkeeper made a great save, and then Spain put it into the net, and we thought, there we go. But the umpire referred it because it came off the body. Yeah, it came off the body. I mean, the umpire, he blew the whistle, goal, and then went, I'm not sure about this. So it was his own referral. And again, a really good call. And as I said, it came off the forearm of the Spanish player, off the leg guard. Yeah. Maybe you could, you obviously, I don't think you can refer a referral, but it was a fair play. Spain got another penalty corner. Goalkeeper made the save, and then Jared Clappes had a good run from his own 23 all the way down, but then just came to nothing. And this is where Spain were really starting to struggle. They couldn't put the finishing touches on any passes or any plays. And things they got there.
I thought from that point, sorry, I'll cut across you. I thought from that point it was very interesting. India had started going into how they played against GB. Just going to start sitting back, but it wasn't all of a sudden. It was we're at the halfway line defending deep. It was just gradual. And I think that's what began to frustrate Spain going into the end of that quarter, start of the fourth quarter, because they just started to sit deeper as the game went, as that quarter went, putting Spain under, allowing Spain to attack, but getting no forward, and then just frustrating them, because it was a very frustrating quarter for Spain and going into that fourth one.
Yeah, I mean, India got a penalty corner right at the very, very end. I think it was 14 seconds left. Yeah. For Rodriguez foot inside the circle. But look, the goalkeeper made a good save. He really did make a great save on that. And the quarter sort of ended that way. I think, as you said, Spain were starting just to lose it. I think that shows the maturity of the Indians to really start to go, right, let's change it. And it's probably that international or non-Indian coach. Just the influence of having to think a different way as opposed to run, and we'll just run ourselves out.
Yeah. And absolutely. I mean, even you can, the average age for the Spanish team was it 22, 23? So it's a really young team. So the fact they've done so well is brilliant to start off with. But yes, I think going into the second half, the maturity of the Indian side and how they were able to take on the knowledge of from their coach and go, right, let's just start changing play. Like you said, not being Indian style of play from start whistle to end whistle.
Yes. Yeah. So you got the fourth quarter. I missed that because I was on a bit of transport, but
absolutely. So it started off very similar to the second quarter. Spain got a penalty corner from an Indian foot with 30 seconds into the quarter. And unfortunately, the flick went wide. They'd worked really well to get the ball off the Indian defence and went up, got the penalty corner, but came to nothing. There was then a good period of play for the Spanish team, keeping the possession, but it was India sitting really deep. Like I said before, they just started dropping deep, like how they did against GB. And very difficult for Spain to get any forward momentum. There was, speaking of the good umpiring, there was a collision between two players off the ball.
Yes.
Indian guy was running up the pitch. Spanish guy was going, both watching the ball. There was a layoff ball for the Indian to run on. The Spanish guy was then coming across to make the tackle. They ran into each other. Unfortunately, the Indian player came off slightly worse for wear, but the referee was brilliant. Talked to the guys through it, went, look, you were both going for the ball. It was a hockey incident.
Yeah.
Stop shouting at me from both sides.
Yeah.
No one's getting
looking for cards.
It was they both ran into each other. So we're playing on. I thought that was very good at a very critical point in the match. For this, though, India did get a green card later on for I think knocking the ball away. It was straight away. Spain started pressuring hard, but again, nothing was coming because of this deep defense. They were going right into the D, but there was just too many. It was too many Indian bodies in the way. A few breakaways from Spain, really quick breakaways, but again, they were getting the breakaway. There was maybe two Spaniards and what looked like only one 2 Indian players, and then all of a sudden there was 5 of them. So it just came. Anything was stopped very quickly from them.
Yeah.
2.5 minutes left. The Spanish pull their goalkeeper. They then win a foot with 1 minute 24 left, or they win a penalty corner from a foot.
From a foot, yeah.
With 1 minute 24 left. It was then a flick. It was a re-award. The flick was saved. The re-award flick was then saved. It was reviewed for danger from the Spanish because of how the ball came up off Srijesh.
Okay.
It wasn't if the Spaniard was a half step to his left, absolutely dangerous, but it just went into the gap between 2 of them, which wasn't deemed dangerous from both the umpire on field and the third official. As awful as it sounds, after Spain took their keeper off it with 2 minutes 30, they actually struggled to do much with the extra player.
Right.
So they really did struggle. And they won several short corners. So they did. And I think in their frustration and in their intensity to try and get the goal, they messed up at the top of the D almost each time. So there was about 3, 4 short corners in the last minute 20. And they mistrapped or didn't stop it correctly from the top of the D each time. So they were, you could feel that if they stopped it and maybe got a flick away, they could have got a goal. But they thought that too, and everyone had tensed up, trying to stop it. It's bounced off, bodies all over the place. Because it was bounced off, the first runners from India were straight on top of them, so they couldn't do much. Again, there was a potential penalty stroke off one of the breakaway runs from Spain. Umpire referral, he gave a short corner, then he went upstairs himself to go, is this a stroke for, basically, I think it was Harmanpreet, made a diving tackle, he's hit the stick, he's then taken him out, but he wanted to check if it was dangerous play.
Yeah.
There was a couple of off the ball bits and pieces that he wanted to check at the same time, but nothing came of it. They kept the short corner, confusion at the top of the day, and missed it completely.
Can't do that.
No, that's the thing, because India, because of the confusion, Indian first runner got the ball and was at their 25 in no time. Got to the 25, the last defender for Spain got the ball, gave it back to them. India then just faffed about for a bit for the last 40 seconds.
Yes.
And
killed the game.
Just killed the game. Last 2 seconds of the match, Spain got a breakaway, run to the top of the D. The tackles meant that he's tripped. He got a free. They were then complaining that it should have been a short corner.
Yeah.
But it all ended quite badly in that sense. India had the ball, left it into the corner. Everyone celebrated. Yes, they celebrated, but it was in the midst of the Spanish trying to get a short corner.
Penalty corner. Yeah.
But they lost the review, so they couldn't use it. So it was a disappointing finish for the Spaniards because of how India played in the end.
Yes.
The end stats was 49% to 51 for Spain. So that was the second half of India sitting off deep and them having the ball and moving it around, but nothing happening. But again, both teams had far more chances in the second half. It went up to 20 for India and 23 for Spain.
Wow. So Spain really did come back at that.
It really did come back, but that was both teams defending and goalkeeping was brilliant for both. So they have to take the positive. If you could take any positive from both teams, the defense was brilliant.
Mm-hmm.
They really kept it well. Again, the 2 goals from India were penalty corners.
Yeah.
And I think that was that 2 out of 4 penalty corners that India had? I think,
Think so.
They only had a handful of corners. They scored 2 of them.
Yeah.
Spain had quite a number more, didn't score any.
I would like to see at the end of this tournament what the percentages for each team is for converting penalty corners, because I think it's getting less and less.
Yeah.
Look, this all leads to the final tonight. Again,
yes.
I'm really sorry I can't be with you on that there. Yep, you're on your own, mate.
Yep.
Unless you can pull somebody else in. But look, it's been a good tournament. I think the surprise has been India. I think they've been able to change and flick and move and go with the game and the style of the game. And, as you said, they really showed it against GB, and then they've shown it again here that they can play a game and change and work at it. They've got a great penalty corner taker. If you take that out, I mean, Simon did talk about it. I mean, if you didn't get penalty corners, they weren't anywhere, and they may not even got to the quarterfinals. But look, that's the game, that's the sport, and it'll be an interesting final.
It will be. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a good one, and I can't wait to recap it later on. But
okay,
look, thank you very much for joining us.
Take care, and we'll maybe see you tomorrow.
Absolutely. See you later, Alan.
Take care. Bye.
Thank you very much, Alan, for joining us for the first match. We have a quick word from Simon on what to look forward to from the final today.
It's men's final day here at the Yves de Melmoire Stadium in Paris, and what a fabulous time we've had over the course of the last 10 days. The final is an all-European affair between Germany and the Netherlands. For those who've been following this, they're the two teams that have been most consistent. There's been controversy, there's been goals, there's been injuries, you name it, through the course of both the pools, the quarterfinals and the semi-finals. But now it's the Netherlands versus Germany. Both sides with 15 of their players from major competitions. 15 from Germany, who won the World Cup back in 2023. 15 from the Netherlands, who won their European Cup also in 2023. Some of the best players on a world stage. Germany with the best penalty corner conversion rate. They haven't won many, but they've scored a number of them. For the Netherlands, the best defensive penalty corner rate. They've conceded 30, but let in just one goal from that. Who knows what the outcome will be? For me, it's too close to call. I hope there's an early goal so that we get an exciting affair and not a 0-0 chess-like Olympic final. But it's been a privilege to be here with the BBC, talking about it with Matt Chilton and Kate Richardson-Wells, which is fantastic reporting pitchside from the BBC crew. It's been great to be here and be part of it. Let's see if it finishes with a flourish.
Thank you very much, Simon. And yes, what a match it was. Going strong into the first quarter from the Germany-Netherlands final. First quarter, strong pressure from both teams. Good attacking pressure as well. Good defensive. As we've said before, it was a feeling out process from both teams, I think. Both teams using the aerial ball really well, throwing it from deep into the forward line, looking for the potential short corners, the frees, and I think maybe putting the defenders under a bit of a test to see what they're like. So maybe further on in the game, they could maybe throw to them and look for those mistakes. Really high press from the Dutch, like unbelievably high. They were sending their highest forward basically to make a nuisance of himself. Excuse me. And he did this the whole match, or whoever was the high forward did this throughout the match. And yes, there was certain periods of time in the first quarter and further on that it put those German guys under a bit of pressure. They had to find a quick ball out. Otherwise, it could have been easily stolen. Brinkman just pressing that the German defense, like I was saying, it was him to start off with for a bit. They switched through once he subbed himself off. It was a high-paced quarter, playing like we've said before in the past few games in the men's and the women's. They were playing from 25 line to 25 line. There wasn't a lot of attacking circle entries from either team, and to be honest, I don't think either keeper touched the ball in this quarter. And really, it started the same into that second quarter. German possession really to start off with, occasional long ball they were trying to play, but this was being turned over by the Dutch defense. Germany got a green card quite quickly on for hitting the ball away after the whistle. And to be honest, Germany absorbed this pressure of this 2 minutes really, really well. They didn't let the Dutch do anything. Yes, the Dutch had the majority of the ball, but the German line just sat deep, sucked up all that pressure, and occasionally had to play the ball out. And all of a sudden, they were back to 11 players. And really, like I said, much of the same play, though it did lead to a German short corner. Now, Payet wasn't on, so they were struggling for a bit at the start. The initial drag was ran down. The rebound hit was brilliant. It was equally defended very, very well, and it was a good defensive play by the Dutch defenders. I think in the second quarter, forgive me, Germany definitely had more attacking opportunities. Now, the Dutch defended very well. They stayed low in that brilliant block tackle shape that they all play in the defensive back, and really any shot that was taken, they were defending before it even got near the keeper. Again, I wouldn't have said block for the Netherlands had really any save to make, and same for the German keeper. Didn't have to do much in the first half, and really it was echoed in the halftime stats. Germany had 62% of the possession, which is quite a lot, especially throughout these games that we've seen. The Dutch had 38. Now, Germany had 4 circle entries. The Dutch had 9. So they were the bit more the attacking team. Germany were defending quite well. But you can see Germany just holding the ball in that possession-wise, and defensively and in attack. It looks like they were just trying to almost tire out the Dutch from their running, certainly trying to tire out that front line from them, which was working well, in my opinion. But halftime came, and we all got a bit of a break. Quarter 3 was by far the slowest quarter for both teams. Now, I don't know if that was they've just both had a bit of a rollick in the sort of try and get going at halftime, or I don't know if it was because a couple of minutes in, the far side sprinkler at the half pitch decided to go off. We've all been in that situation where we've played matches and the sprinklers decide to go, and they've maybe tried to do something else with the remote, but sprinkler went off, so everyone got a bit of a break, probably about 3 minutes into the match, which was quite nice for everybody. But after that, it really just never felt like it got going. Almost both teams used this as just an extended rest period. I would have said the frustration from the Dutch was coming through a little bit in this quarter. A bit more arguing with the umpire, which the Germans were doing in their semi-final match. They got a hold of it in the finals. They weren't really complaining to the umpires too badly. Definitely the Dutch were doing a bit more of that. And they had a couple of attacks, but this was the first save really by Denenberg, the German keeper. Did very well, cleared it nicely, and the defense came through and got the ball away from him. But after that, there wasn't there was no backup play from the Dutch coming through there. And after this bit of attack, the Germans went right down the far end, and Black had to make his first save. Keepers do nothing for a good chunk of the match, and a bit like buses too come along at the same time. At this point, green card from Germany again. And again, they did brilliantly. They defended fantastically when their player was off. He had about 20 seconds into the fourth quarter, he was off as well, and it went by in a flash. They defended really nicely, did the same as the first green card. The Dutch had the majority of the ball. Germans sat deep, defended very, very nicely. And again, really low, flat bat style of defending that they've clearly picked up, both teams, through playing that good period of indoor hockey, which is all about keeping nice and low. So it was really good defensive work from Germany in this point. And then we go into quarter 4. And quarter 4 is where it all happened. The Netherlands scored with 43 seconds into the quarter. Brinkman got the final touch. It was a great play into the circle. Bayern got the ball, I would say probably around the flex spot, and flicked it over the keeper. And as any good poaching forward would do, Brinkman got the final touch. It was well worked, though I would have said Germany had a bit of a defensive breakdown, which allowed the Dutch to get the ball so far into the circle without a bit of pressure. Though they scored, Germans got the ball back, went straight down the far end. It was well defended by the Dutch. It came right back. It was a great back and forth period of the match. Came right back, and exact same thing happened. Ball came in. Bayern got the ball. Dannenberg came out to make the save. Bayern flicked it over, and Payet, out of absolutely nowhere, reverse stick, brilliant save off the line. It was for sure a goal. He came out of nowhere, saved it off the line, and Germany went down the far end and got a short corner. It was brilliant. It was so again, Payet was on the goal and it was on the pitch, and everyone thought, right, he's just made a brilliant goal line save down there. He's going to come up all guns blazing and rip the ball from a drag flick. And I think that's what the plan was, until there was a missed trap. There's a missed trap at the top of the D. We've seen it a couple of times. We saw it in the last match as well, but it was a missed trap. And Prince got the ball, who was the stick stopper, got the ball, parting of the Red Sea. He just walked to the top of the D and crunched a fantastic hit right into the bottom corner. There was no saving it. 1-1. When I have a really tight game on our hands, and really, this all happened in the first 5 minutes. So there's still 10 minutes of play left. So I think the German goal got them hyped, really, really went for it. They led a good possession of the play throughout this. Pressing high, a bit like what the Dutch were doing in the first half. On the German defense, this time Germany were doing it on the Dutch defense, keeping the ball well, going back into that nice German structure that they tend to play in. And again, after a while, the Dutch settled down again and started playing their style. And really, both teams were sort of cancelling each other out, like we said, sort of in the lead up to this match. The Dutch attack was working well, but the German defense was brilliant. It was holding them off really nicely. Again, bar the 2 shots on goal that were goals in the end, the keepers didn't have to do much. And that says a lot about both teams' defenses. They were brilliant. Good attacks, really strong attacks that against any other team would have led to a goal scoring opportunity. But actually, this time, the defensive units from both teams was blocking it out. And with 56 seconds left in the match, the Dutch finally got their penalty corner that they've been working so hard to get throughout this match. And again, Jansen's on the pitch. We all know what's happening. The ball comes to him, and it's a rocket of a flick, but he puts it wide. So hard and such a rocket that it broke the fence hoardings around the side. It went through the fence. And then they just ground it out. Time over. We're going to a shootout. So really interesting. Up until this point, I think out of 5 or 6 shootouts between the two teams, the Dutch have only won 1 and the Germans have won the rest. So the Germans were a bit confident going into this. Equally, the Dutch, Black was coming out all guns blazing. He was ready for this. I think by all accounts, this could be his last Olympics. It could be the last time he's in Dutch colours as a goalkeeper. So he was really up for this. And to be honest, he was fantastic. So the Dutch started off. They took their penalty shootout first. Shootout, shuttle, whatever you want to call it. They went first. It was saved. Germany went. It was saved. The Netherlands went. It was saved. I thought this was going to be a bit similar to the match. We're going to have to wait until the 9th hour, which we sort of did. The German second attempt was saved, but they reviewed it because it was stuck under block, and they got the reward, but it was saved again. The Dutch third one, Brinkman scored. This was the floodgates opening. Germany then, they had their go. It was saved. So currently, Netherlands are 1-0 up. All to play for. Van Dam steps up for the Dutch 4th attempt, and he scores a really good goal. All on Germany now. Germany had to score this to keep going, and they did. Weigand scored the goal. Brilliant goal. Everyone settled down. Up steps Hellenkamp, who walks in and scores a great goal for the Dutch to win. They won 3-1 on penalty shootouts. Oh, they won because Block was absolutely fantastic. He saved some. He didn't dive. He used his experience of shootouts. Yes, they may not have won a lot against Germany, but they have won a lot over the many years they've been playing together, and especially him. He did brilliantly. He saved. He got up if they took him over. He got up, moved, he shuffled with them. He did fantastically. And really, he was the reason they won this, because there were some really good attempts by the Germans. So that was it. The Dutch are the gold medal winners. Germany got silver and India got bronze. What a men's tournament. Absolutely fantastic. And really, there was no bad matches in the men's tournament. Neither in the women's tournament, to be honest. It was a great games for all the teams. I think it probably ended up in the right way. In that final, certainly during open play, it was very even from both. Like I said before, they almost cancelled each other out, and 1-1 was probably the right scoreline, or a draw was probably the right scoreline, I should say, for the open play match. And yeah, it was Herman Block that won it for the Dutch with his great keeping skills. He set it up right from the start, saved every single one, bar one, and it was Weigand's goal was great. So he did very well, but will not take away from Brinkman, Van Dam, and Tellenkamp, who got the goals in the shootout as well. And I think there's only really one more person that can close out the men's tournament, and that's Mr. Simon Mason. Now, Simon, take us home, summarize the final day of the men's tournament.
So there it is. The sun sets metaphorically and literally on another Olympic hockey competition. The Netherlands have just beaten Germany in a shootout. Shootout itself ended in fairly tempestuous fashion, but you can go and look that up yourselves online. The game came alive at the start of the fourth quarter. A fabulous goal from Thierry Brinkman and an equaliser from a messed up corner, really, from Thijs Prince. Both are worth looking at. The first three quarters a little bit chess-like, probably one for the purist rather than the neutral spectator. But it's been a privilege to be here in Paris at the Yves de Manoir Stadium, commentating with Matt Chilton, Kate Richardson-Walsh, just over the course of both the men's and the women's competition. Still one more day to go in the women's competition, as the Netherlands will take on China. And nobody would have predicted that at the start of the competition in the women's final, because that'll be a fabulous culmination to their competition as well, as Alison Anand, the head coach of the Chinese team, takes on her old side, the Netherlands. It's been brilliant. There's been some highs, there's been a couple of lows, but not many. And overall, it's just been exceptional hockey. We hope you've enjoyed it wherever you've been watching it. And these little...
As always, Simon, very well put. Thank you very much for watching, guys. Now, don't forget, we have the women's finals day tomorrow, but let us know what your men's finals day moment was. Let us know in the comments below. And as always, like and subscribe. And if you don't want to watch me, which again is absolutely fair enough, you can listen to this on Apple Podcast and on Spotify. But guys, thank you very much. Thank you to Alan earlier, and thank you to Simon for his couple of interludes throughout this episode. But thank you very much, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.